What's going on, guys? Apex Gamer 2020 here, coming at you with another lspdfr video, and at long last, guys, we are ready to get into the special video I promised you guys a while back, the EMS video. Now, in this video, we're going to be going through step by step how EMS people operate. Now, we're going to be running around with this fly car because we can't actually transport patients. So we're going to be using this as a fly car. Now basically what fly cars are used for, they're usually used for faster responses, and an ambulance isn't usually far behind them. But the fly car usually gets on scene a little bit quicker, begins treatment of the patient, and then the ambulance arrives, does whatever they have to do, and then they transport. So without further ado, let's get into this. But before this, let's avoid getting some patients now, and take care of that situation. There we go. Yeah, EMS isn't actually armed, but you know, I feel like that'll be a thing soon. But now, the only way we're gonna get EMS call off though is if we we start forcing like some stuff from like the fire call outs. So we can get maybe we'll get a patient in the aircraft crash. Maybe sometimes we'll respond to brush fires, crashed cars. You know, we respond to basically all of these. EMS goes to all of these. You know, except we wouldn't be helping them put the fire out. We'd go to medical emergencies, you know, all this good stuff. So let's start out actually with, let's do a medical emergency.
Citizens report an ambulance requested on Vinewood Park Drive.
Okay, so we're going to head over there to take care of this. We gotta go straight. Okay, there we go. Yeah, we would have done this episode a lot sooner, but man, it took me forever to get some XMLs going, and I had to find a vehicle that was all red lighting. Looks like we have the situation here on the racetrack. So we're gonna go ahead and get onto the racetrack up here. Oh, they literally are on the racetrack. So actually what we need to do is going around up this way. Is there a way to get around this way? Remember in online mode, I used to come in from over there. I don't know if there's a way to get onto the track from here. That's a big fat negative. Well, this is not good. We got a patient that needs some assistance over here, and we can't really even get to him. Hang in there, man. I'm trying to get to you. Alright, so we gotta get back around this way. I mean, we could have hopped the fence and done that, but I'd much rather would treat him from the track. But I know exactly how to get to the track. Shouldn't need any sirens. Oh, that was my turn right there. And this is basically the same outfit we're matching up here as well. So this is the San Andreas EMS, and that's kind of the same outfit we have. Okay, so the incident is up here. Alright, so basically once we call and we get on scene, this guy's probably going to die because it's going to take me a while to explain some of these things. So basically the first thing we're going to get here and do is assess scene safety. So we make sure our scene is safe. Obviously the track is, you know, we don't have any cars on the track or anything, so there's nothing else around us, no overhead wires, nothing, you know, making the scene unsafe. So we know that our scene is safe. Then we assess the number of patients, and we have one patient here laying on the ground. And then we assess level of responsiveness. So we check for and consider C-spine stabilization. So we would consider C-spine at this point because we don't know exactly what happened to this guy. So now we're going to assess level of responsiveness. So we would go to the guy and be like, "Sir, all right, man, can you hear me?" Alright, so he's obviously unresponsive and, you know, glitching out all of a sudden. But anyways, because he's unresponsive, we would check for ABCs, airway, breathing, circulation, or if it's a trauma, it'd be CBA, circulation, breathing, and airway. Then we would check out for any massive bleeding, anything we should take care of. Obviously on him, we don't see any. So we would start CPR. I will call an ambulance en route as soon as we get done with our assessment here. So obviously the guy's down, you know, he's unresponsive, so we begin CPR here. Now, the proper CPR ratio is 30 compressions and 2 breaths, so over a period of 5 cycles. And 1 cycle is a set of 30 compressions and 2 breaths. So we'll just begin that now. So do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Okay, so now this is where the breath would come in. So we would have a bag valve mask, or depending on if a paramedic was there, they may have done a tracheal intubation, which still uses a bag valve mask because it's a slightly different way. You know, it helps to get the airflow inside their lungs a little easier. Sometimes if they're unresponsive, we will put in a esophageal airway or a nasal pharyngeal airway, which will also help oxygen flow into the lungs better. Again, a paramedic will put a tracheal intubation in. And then we get the bag valve mask out. Now, when we do our breaths, we would do 1 breath delivered over a period of 1 second, and we do a breath every 6 seconds. So we would squeeze the bag and take a whole second to do that. It would come out, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and pump the bag again. Of course, that may have updated, but that's the last training that I remember doing. So then we would begin again with compressions. We would do another 30. Okay, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. So then we would do another set of breaths. Now at this point we do that 3 more times, and we're just going to assume this guy's not going to get up from the next 3 cycles, so we're going to assume that we did 5 cycles, and you would keep going as long as the ambulance would show up. So now we would, you know, get up here. We're going to go ahead and call our ambulance in now. Requesting EMS to my location.
10-4, proceed with caution.
Oh, dang it. Alright, so let's do that. Let's do it this way. F7. Do backup.
10-4.
So now the ambulance is ALS has arrived. So now these guys are going to try to get him up. As it stands right now, we have gotten a set of vitals.
Only God can save this one.
But he didn't really have a heart rate because, you know, he was in cardiac arrest. So cardiac arrest is basically the heart's doing all kinds of crazy things, and it's out of a steady rhythm. That's what they call it, ventricular fibrillation. And this guy apparently did not survive, so EMS was unable to help us out here with the ambulance, so they aren't going to transport. Generally, an ambulance will not transport a dead body because they want to get themselves to be available for the next call as quickly as possible. And this ambulance has no idea how to freaking drive, so we're going to go ahead and get our vehicle out of the way and let them do whatever it is that they're going to do. Come on, guys, figure it out. Okay, so obviously the assessment's pretty much over. There's not really anything else to do because he's been pronounced dead now. So this means that this patient is DOA, which means dead on arrival. I'll tell you this stuff. If they are DOA, they better be DOD. DOD means dead on delivery. So basically, at this point now, we pronounce him dead. We didn't really get a chance to get a set of vitals because there really wasn't any. So at this point, we now call a coroner. And usually, like, we won't go through all this process for, you know, the way we just treated this patient if there's obvious signs of death, such as, you know, like a decapitation or like things like blood pooling behind the guy, or, you know, blood pooling that would obviously look like bruising, you know, kind of things like that. But obvious things that would have actually killed him. A gunshot to the head, you know, things like that. So we're going to go ahead and get a coroner. This guy, my guess would be that, you know, being on this track, obviously we'll never really know because it's, you know, a video game, but point is my guess would be, and if I had responded to this scenario in real life, I would have guessed that this guy was dragging. He was jogging around this track and had an acute myocardial infarction, which also translates to a heart attack. So we're going to go ahead and get a coroner for this guy. He unfortunately did not make it. Dispatch requested coroner.
Assistance required on Vinewood Park Drive.
Now, if we do another medical emergency and we save the patient, then we'll get into this same algorithm, but a little more in depth. We'll start asking the patient some questions and things like that to help us make an assessment. Alright, so these guys are going to take the body. I'm going to jump in my vehicle here and get ready. Oh, well, by the way, if you guys are doing like an EMS class, it's the first thing you do is scene safety, BSI, which stands for body substance isolation, which is basically your PPE. And then, actually, I'm sorry, you do BSI, then scene safety. Body substance isolation is my scene safe, then you assess number of patients, and then you kind of keep going from there. Alright, so they got him loaded up, and we're going to go ahead and get out of here. So we're just going to kind of work our way around this track here. Of course, we may have saved him if we had not had to do all that crap trying to get around to the track. Alrighty, and then we're back out of here on the road. And because it's a big city, all of a sudden we have a house fire.
We are code 4. No further units required.
Alright, so now we gotta respond to a house fire. Now sometimes EMS is like this. So we're gonna respond to code 3 to this house fire. We may actually have to help them put the fire out because I don't know, the firefighters don't always do their job. Yes, and this still happens too. I'm not gonna be able to get through there. I'm gonna have to go around this way. Really, cars? Come on now. Alright, so we got some smoke showing from up here. Actually, guys, today I've been busy. At around 3:30 this morning or so, I actually ended up having to go out and fight a brush fire. So I came home from that, went back to bed for a little while, and then about 9:30 or so, we actually had a structure fire. So I fought 2 fires today. So I've been in. If I sound tired, that's probably why. Okay, so we're just about on scene here. Alright, actually I think this is Franklin's house. Requesting fire department backup for a structure fire. Of course not. Requesting fire department backup for structure fire.
Fire truck. Assistance required on Wispy Mound Drive.
Okay, you guys can stop now and get out and fight the fire that you're driving away from. No, that's fine. I'll just move my vehicle up here closer to the fire, where you guys should be. That's totally fine. Alright, we'll kind of jump out here. If we need to, we'll call in an ambulance. For now, we'll just keep the ambulance available. Like I said, we may have to go ahead and help them out, because they're definitely not going to get that fire out up on the roof there. And this is actually Franklin's house. Okay, we're going to have to stop traffic. I don't know if I can get cones out of here or not. Oh yeah, I can. Cool. So while these guys are doing this, we'll grab some traffic cones out. I forgot how to... I actually forgot to put cones down. Context menu. Inventory? No. Oh, police radio? Huh, that's some kind of neat things in here I didn't realize. I don't know how to put these freaking things down, man. Dang it. That's a canine. I would have thought it'd be right here. Alright, well, we're just going to kind of pretend we put cones down, because I don't know how to actually set them down. I thought it would be... Is it maybe like in the trainer or something? I doubt it. Well, these guys are going to have to fire out by the time I freaking get these cones down, so I guess we'll just never mind. That's something I'm going to have to play around with. We got traffic stopped, so that's all that really matters. Yeah, we're gonna have to grab a fire extinguisher and get up there on the roof, because these firefighters aren't gonna be able to do it. Let's see if we can't get up there with these trash cans. Haha, that was easier than I thought it might have been. Also, guys, EMS sometimes wear bulletproof vests for behavioral calls. So if you guys see me do an EMS episode in the future with a bulletproof vest on, that's kind of why. Or if we get a mental disabled call, we might go ahead and throw a vest on. I don't think I actually have one set up for this uniform. Let's go down here. See, they're still fighting some fire on the inside there. Yeah, they're not even touching it. Alright, so we're going to have to help them out, because they're just kind of standing here. I understand it normally would be up to the firefighters to do this. And this won't be the only EMS episode we do, guys. We'll do further EMS episodes. This is more or less just kind of to show you guys how EMS operates. I'm going to have to go in here. See, mainly I was just going to kind of sit outside. Holy cow. I was just going to kind of sit outside and, wait for them to put the fire out and then come in and see if there's any patients. I don't even have any fire gear installed in my wardrobe. Yeah, this is kind of a bad example for EMS. Oh, look at that, we got a patient. Okay, it's cool. So we'll get the fire out around the patient. So basically what would end up happening, the firefighters would come in and they would drag the patient out to the EMS crew. Alright, so we got the fire out around the patient. No, we don't. We'll get this little bit out right here. And then we'll get the patient out of here. Alright, so we got this. We're gonna, unfortunately, we had to attempt CPR and everything right here. So we would do our initial assessment. We're not gonna go through it all again, but we did our assessment, so now we're doing CPR to the guy. Okay, obviously he's unresponsive, so you do start the compressions. So far, guys, it's not looking good. We're just gonna do like one cycle of it. We're on like 10. Alright, guys, I don't think we're gonna be able to get him up. Alrighty. Requesting EMS.
We have in Vinewood
Alright,
Hill.
so we're going to pronounce him. We're going to get ALS out here. ALS, for those who don't know, stands for Advanced Life Support. The fire is out around the patient, so EMS should be able to get in here and get him out safely. Or the ambulance, rather. We're going to go ahead and get the rest of this fire out because for whatever reason we got firefighters just kind of standing around. Ow. Requesting fire department backup.
Fire truck. Assistance required in Vinewood Hills.
We got another fire truck coming in to help us out. Hopefully the ambulance will be in here for him soon. I mean, this obviously wouldn't ever be exact, you know, the way EMS operates, because obviously it's GTA, and you know there actually should have been an EMS mod. I mean, there is, but I somehow, for whatever reason, cannot get it to work. So hopefully somebody makes an EMS mod at some point that we can do this a little more in depth. But this is kind of the basics of how it works in each scenario. Just like a lot of times in motor vehicle accidents. Oh, look at that, we got firefighters coming in to help us and actually do their job. We don't know how the patient is upstairs. We're just kind of going in with the fire department to assess the situation. The door doesn't open. See if there's any additional patients inside the house. And there is not. Well, he's not on this floor anyway. Obviously somebody's tending to the patient upstairs. I believe we do have more fire up there anyway, unless there's firefighters that did it. So this guy is... Oh, the pet is alive. Okay, cool. So now what we're going to do is use Stop the Pet to take care of him.
Wait up!
Alright, man. Come on out here for... Alright, we're going to get you out of here. Can you walk? Alright. Come on, man. Let's get you out of this house. I got him, guys. You guys will have to end up transporting him later. Alright, so we're going to take him back here and kind of do a patient assessment on him. And then we're going to allow him to go by ambulance. Okay, those guys are going to get out of here because I have the patient. Alright, man. Go ahead and sit on the ground, bro. We'll get a ped check on him so we can get his ID. Alright, Daniel. I'm just going to check you out, man. Make sure you're okay. Alright, so first thing we're going to do, guys, is put him on 15 liters of high flow oxygen via non-rebreather. Alright, so then we're going to start asking him some questions, man. So, not really so much with fire investigating, like they'd have a whole fire investigating team that combine do all that work, but we'd be asking things like, do you have any pain anywhere? You know, did you hit your head when you fell? Do you remember anything? Kind of things like that. As in the process of asking him all these questions, we'd be getting a baseline set of vitals. So I'd be getting a pulse, which we'll just say for right now is a pulse of 100 because, you know, he's amped up because of the incident that's going on. And then we'd get a blood pressure, we'll say is 180 over 120, which is pretty high. It's pretty hypertensive. You know, we'd obviously be looking at him in his condition. We'd be checking for all the original stuff, like, you know, excessive bleeding, things kind of like that. We will be looking for DCAP BTLS, which stands for deformities, contusions, abrasions, punctures, penetrations, burns, tenderness, lacerations, and swelling. So those are all some kinds of things. We'd be checking his eyes. You know, we'd be looking at to make sure his pupils are equal and reactive. Obviously, not all in this order. I'm just kind of going on my own little rant here, but we'd be checking the fact that he's conscious, alert, and oriented as of now. We would consider this guy to be a high priority transport because, you know, he was down for a while and we did have to perform CPR to save him. And our CPR failed, but EMS or the fire department were able to get him up. So we would ask him if he has had any kind of cardiac history. Then we would go through and ask him if he's on any medications, any allergies, what he had to eat. And the reason why we ask what they had to eat is because of things like if he has to go into the hospital and he's got to have an emergency surgery done, the surgeons would need to know when the last time he ate was, if he ate within 24 hours. And I'm just kind of sitting here because we obviously can't really check a blood pressure and we can't really check a pulse on this guy, but this is the things that we'd be doing. So we're just kind of standing here pretending to do these things. We would ask him at this point now if the oxygen is helping him any, you know, per the smoke inhalation. He seems to be okay right now. And then we would ask him, in some cases they don't get the opportunity, but right now we'd be asking him if he wanted to go to the hospital for treatment. And we got to get in our little computer here so we can run some information on him. And they don't run information the same way a cop does. So we'd get Daniel Dimitri here, so age 22. So this is the part where we would give a verbal report to the receiving facility. Actually, the ambulance would do this, not really so much the fly car, but in the back of the ambulance, this is what you would kind of do. So we will say, I don't know, just kind of make something up here. So we would say, get into medical control and say, dispatch, we have Daniel Dimitri, age 22, coming in with smoke inhalation. CPR was administered. Patient has been placed on 15 liters high flow oxygen via non-rebreather. Patient seems to be conscious, alert, and oriented. Pupils are equal and reactive. Vitals are as follows. And I think we said his pulse was 100. And then his BP was 180 over 120. Again, which is pretty hypertensive. And we would just kind of rattle off some other stuff. We would listen to lung sounds. Lung sounds would be something like we heard wheezing on one side. And then if we heard that, we'd ask the patient, do you have any medical conditions such as asthma and, you know, things like that. So we would say patient had diminished lung sounds or weak lung sounds or faint lung sounds, or we heard wheezing or stridor or other things kind of like that. We would note that and give that to them. And then we would usually end the assessment to the assessment to the receiving facility. It's like, okay, if you guys have any other requests, not really so much requests, but if there's anything you'd like me to do, let me know. If not, we'll see you guys in like 15 minutes or however far the hospital is. Okay, so now this guy is finally ready for transport. And in some cases, we would administer medication or assist in administering medication. So we're just going to go ahead and get this guy, get him up, and we're going to get him transported by ambulance. And there's probably some things I may have forgotten. Yeah, I have to call a whole nother ambulance in because that one down there's not going to transport him now. But there's a whole bunch of stuff I probably missed. I was just kind of skimming over this, but I didn't want to bore you guys with too many of these details. But again, too, let's add to this. If he had been a trauma, depending on not knowing his C-spine conditions, we probably would have backboarded him. But they're going to go ahead and get him loaded up onto the stretcher. His vitals would be monitored every 5 minutes because he is a critical patient. And we would go kind of just like that. And that's really the only thing I can go over as far as, like, unless I can get a really good EMS mod. But aside from that, that's really the only information I can do. I mean, we could work on a vehicle extrication, but again, this is going to be a bunch of standing next to the patient like we did just now. And, you know, kind of just going over what you would do in a vehicle extrication kind of thing. And then they would take them, or take him, and then we would code 4. Oh, I actually do got a code 4. Dispatch me code 4.
No further units required.
And that's really the only extent of what we can do as far as EMS. So EMS videos in the future will be difficult without an EMS mod. But I mean, we will do our best. So if there's any other questions you guys have, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Or you can send me an email at apexgamer1124@gmail.com. I will post that in the description box below as well. So be checking out that. Remember, I do check that email every single day. And that will do it for this one, guys. I do hope you enjoyed the episode. I hope you guys were able to learn something. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.